everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video. Today is another one of the design challenges that I set over on the Patreon page, where every month I give a design brief to my patrons and they need to put forward some ideas based off of that brief of what they'd like to see me do with a soap, so I can actually demonstrate how we can achieve things in soap with various ingredients, techniques and that sort of thing. Now for this month I asked for them to give me just one single color, or they could give me a colorant name as long as I had access to it, and then I would create a soap using only that one color. And I would also be allowed to alter that color using either a black, as in black oxide or activated charcoal, or titanium dioxide for a white. And that's because most of us have color and then we have the black and whites to be able to alter those colors. But overall, the main color of this soap was going to be whichever one was drawn out. Now all the suggestions were put into a soapy jug, and the one that was drawn out came from Susanne, who runs Wombat Lagoon, and I'll leave her details down in the description box so you can go and check her out. And she suggested using my favorite color, which is Eminence. So I have got Eminence here. Now most people assumed, and you're probably assuming it right now, the most basic or the most obvious thing I'm going to do is create an ombre soap. But I was determined not to make an ombre using just one color, because I really want to actually demonstrate that if you are a beginner soap maker, you don't have to have 10, 20, 30 different colors in your sort of rack. You can get away with just having a couple of colors and still create really bright, colorful patterned soaps with just one color and maybe your black and white to alter the color just slightly. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how the inside of this soap really turns out. So let's go and check out how I make my Eminence soap. Let's go. Alright, so first of all, let's look at the colour. We have got Eminence, and it's a beautiful purple. This is one of my favourites to use. My idea is I'm going to do a base, which is going to have just this main colour, and I am going to put in 2/4 teaspoons into this jug. In fact, let's make it 3 so we get a nice dark colour in this one. Then what we're going to do is, in my main bucket, I'm going to have a really light purple. Then I'm going to have another one. We're going to put in 1/4 teaspoon into this jug. And I'm going to put in 2/4 teaspoons into this one. And then into this one over here, I'm going to put in 1/4 of the teaspoon. And one of the things I said that I would do as well is either use some black or some white to change the color, so titanium dioxide or black oxide. So what I'm going to do in this one here is actually add in some black oxide to change this into a darker purple. So we'll pop that in there like so. Just a little bit goes a long way with this stuff, so that should be more than enough. Into the big pot I will just put in a little bit of Eminence and some white. To mix these up, I'm just going to take some of the oil from out of my main mix here and just pop them in here and give them a bit of a jiggle around, a bit of a stir, and get that mica to dissolve into that oil. Alright, so now that I've got all the colours done, I'm ready to start mixing my lye water into my oils, and then we'll split it up for those colours and we'll start pouring into the mould. So the first one I'm going to do is this bigger pot, because as I said, I'm going to put a layer onto the bottom of the soap with this darker purple colour. So pour that one off, and what I'm going to do is actually mix all of this one up first, pour it into the mould, and then while we do all these colours, this should set up nicely. fragrance I'm using for this one is called Forbidden Berries, which I've had from off of Ilux, and it is a dupe one, and it's got notes of juniper and orchid, so it is a bit of a floral, but it looks like it is at the moment playing quite nice. Oh, it's hit the soap and it's really changed in its smell as well. It's quite nice. Got a little bit of a fruity tang to it. For a floral fragrance, that is behaving beautifully there. Look how fluid that has gone. So there's going to be no worries with the rest of this. What we might do, because that is still quite fluid there, is just give it a little bit more of a stick blend so that we're not waiting too long for the layer to set. So something I do want to do is just make up a little bit of white, which you'll see what I'm using that one for at the end. So we'll pour a lot in there. We'll pour a bit in there, back in, because that is just way too much. It's looking better. And then into these containers, we're going to pour in about the same of each of them so we get a better idea of how these colours are going to change. Okay, so into this big pot, I am going to add in 1/4 of a teaspoon again. So because we've got so much more soap, that 1/4 of a teaspoon is going to be different to what it is in whichever of these jugs only had 1/4 of a teaspoon. And I'm also going to add in a bit of titanium dioxide as well, just to really lighten that one up. So you can see we've got some very different purples just by using different amounts in here. Love how dark that one is. Let's put all that fragrance in there. We know it's going to behave really well and loosen these up beautifully. So I'm going to get all of these stirred in, and then I'm going to do, let's do a drop pour. So we'll pour the lighter colour in first and then drop all these other colours into the mould. Just pop some paddle pop sticks under there because the slant on my workbench is really showing on this particular pour. So I'm going to leave that to set up. I'm going to pop these into some piping bags and then we'll come back and we'll finish the top off. Okay, so I've been waiting patiently for this to set up. It was taking so long. I've even gone and done my post office run and I've come back and this is set up enough that I can now start piping with it. It has also started to get quite warm as well. So I am imagining that all these purple colours are going to come out really, really nice and bright and vibrant because it seems to be gelling. What I'm going to do with what is left over, I am just going to pipe random flowers on the top with these different colours and just make a really pretty floral top. I did think about doing some berries and then I decided I couldn't get the berries to look really different with all of the different sort of colours. So I thought a nice little floral garden would be more appropriate. Whenever I do use type fragrances, I do tend to change the name just for IP reasons. So I wouldn't actually be calling this one Forbidden Berries. I think, well, by the time I upload this, I will have a name for it, but maybe, I don't know, Purple Delight, or I don't know, I'll think of something, and then we'll have that in the title of the video. But for now, I'm just gonna pipe these flowers just randomly. This is still actually quite loose, even though I've left it. The post office is about, I don't know, 20 minutes, depending upon how many lights I catch along the way. So it's had it's had 40 minutes to actually set up. Actually, it's probably about 30, because I got lucky. I caught all the lights on green, or they were just changing to green as I came up to them. So I got really lucky on today's post office run. So we've got all of our really dark ones. I'm going to do the same, similar shape with these ones. And I saved the white because I said with this I would use white or black but no other colours. I figured the white would act as some leaves just to break these purple flowers up. Now I know white's a bit unusual to have as a leaf, but if you've ever had any sort of the dried floral arrangements, you'll often get white or silver leaves in them. But what I might do is put in our white leaves first, and then that final purple will be just to fill in with some smaller flowers. So I have got all of that piped onto the top, and the only other deviation I'm going to make with colour is adding a little bit of sparkle. We're going to do some of the biodegradable holographic glitter across the top just to make sure that it picks up all of those sort of piping details. So now I'm going to bring you down for a closer look. So here is the top, and I think I'm going to just call this one Eminence after the purple mica that has gone into it. I am loving all of those shades of purple, and I can't wait to see what the inside of this one looks like when we cut it open. I'm going to leave it sit here for 24 hours and we'll be back in just a moment and we'll take a look. Okay, we are ready to cut into Eminence, and I am loving all those different shades of purple on the top there. Two of them are very subtle different shades, but you can see that this really dark one on here. I'm going to line up here. Again, as I did with a couple of the other soaps, I've had a lot of trouble getting this one out the mould. I forgot to put the sodium lactate in, which I find I do need for the Nurture soap moulds, and because it's just been so cold here, I was having trouble getting them to set up nice and hard. So I'll probably cut this one up into a couple of sample pieces to give away. But we'll cut through and we'll see what we've got on the inside here and see how we can create a multicolored soap. Well, a soap with lots of shades of the one same mica. So we went thunk. Let's grab this one from out the middle. Oh wow, look at that. Love what has happened in there, and you can see we've got a light, a medium, a light, and then that really dark piece in the middle. That is absolutely stunning, and it all just sits beautifully against that pale background of that purple as well. Really happy. Was not expecting it to come out like that. That is a true drop, as is that in the soap. Really pleased with how that's come up. Let's grab one bit further down, and we've still got those really interesting drops throughout here. Love how that's all sort of swirled in there. So if you are new to soap making and you are struggling with the amount of choice that is out there for the different things that you can buy, I will admit I have got pretty much every single mica color that I could have from off of my mica obsession when she first started, but you don't have to have every single color. So we've managed to get 4 very different colors out of this just by using that Eminence purple, a little bit of black and a little bit of white. So really you only need to have 3 basic colors, and in fact you don't really need to have the black and the white if you just want to have, say, 2 different or 3 different versions of the color. It's all about how much mica you actually put into the soap mix to get those colors. But I am absolutely loving how this one has come together. Really like these oils. That looks like there's a cherry sitting in the middle of that one, which is absolutely perfect given that this one was scented with forbidden berries. I really like how it has come together here. So I hope you have enjoyed watching how I made Eminence. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.